Hi, this is Amanda and this is my video diary, my fifth in this series to help to overcome autoimmune disease, and this is being shared to help all those people out there who have unexplained symptoms and conditions that they want to overcome in relation to their immune system. The date is the 3rd of January 2019 and I am 8 days in to my new regime to wellness, which is part of a 10-week regime which is going to reverse a lot of the damage that has been caused and remove the symptoms and help me to get back to wellness. So if you've been watching the series so far, you will know my history, know my story, and many of you who have been asking to be tagged into this have maybe similar symptoms or symptoms that they can relate to that have perhaps been created over time through trauma, stress that perhaps have happened at some stage in their life, through overuse of antibiotics, certain foods, people who suffer from exposures like leaky gut or other immune system deficiencies that are causing symptoms and unwellness. So today I want to talk about the process of what I'm going through at the moment. There's two things. First, I'm tackling this from a nutritional point of view, and secondly, I'm tackling this from an environmental point of view. Immune systems are affected by our genetics of how, who we're born into this world from, so our parents, any environmental things that have affected us over the years and also are affecting us now, of course, and also anything that we're ingesting. And for me personally, mine was genetically, brought in, so it was sitting there dormant. And then I had meningococcal septicemia in 2003. And from that, because of the vast amount of antibiotics that were put into my system, it wasn't the meningitis that was going to cause me the long-term damage, it was the antibiotics. And every time I've had antibiotics since, it has caused more and more damage to my body. Now what happens is that other foods that go into my body, anything else that I ingest, are seen either as poisons or friend or foe. And in my case, I've managed to discern that it is wheat, so it's the gluten, dairy and sugars. Now some things I'm eliminating all three of those. So I'm going to eliminate, or have started to eliminate, wheat or gluten, dairy and sugars. Some I will be able to bring back in, but I don't think I will ever be able to bring wheat back into my diet. Celiacs will be able to understand that. People with sensitivity to wheat will understand. Wheat, we're not supposed to be able to digest wheat anyway. It naturally breaks through the intestinal wall and floods into our system. So it's as it is a poison. Remember that wheat is not grown as it used to be. Wheat naturally used to be much healthier for us, but now it's grown in such a way that it's full of all sorts of other exposures, things that are poisons now. So eradicating wheat or eliminating wheat from our diet anyway is a very healthy option, not just for those people who are suffering. You can always tell if it's actually bad for us, because when you start to detox, it's like coming off drugs. It's like anything. You crash and you have some horrible symptoms, but eventually that rights itself as the body starts to let go of all of that and you start to feel well. Now what I've done is I've started a 10-week diary. So I've started a spreadsheet and listed all my symptoms. So I've got quite a few symptoms that, challenge me on a daily basis. Some of them are more prominent than others. I've put the dates along the top. So I've got the symptoms down the side. I've got the dates along the top. And I've put a marker on each one. So on the 3rd of January, for instance, I've put a number for each of the different symptoms, ranging from 1 to 10, depending on how strong or how problematic that symptom is. So a 1 is not an influence at all, doesn't bother me very much at all, whereas 10 is a very extreme reaction. So whilst I've been going through this, what I've done also is I've weighed myself right from the beginning, and I've also put in my exercise as well. So I've got all my symptoms, I've got my weight at the beginning of this regime, and I've also got what exercise I do. At the moment, I can only walk. That is the limitation to my mobility. So my exercise is walking. Interestingly, even though I've changed my diet quite radically, I've eliminated all wheat, and that is very hard to do. If you actually look into what wheat is in, like soy, salad dressings, sauces, wheat is in things like mustard. It's hidden in things that we don't even think are wheat-based, but they do have wheat in them. So I recommend, if you are going to start to remove wheat from your body, you really need to think about the whole aspect of wheat, not just removing Weetabix and bread from your diet. They say the research that I've done shows that even if you take 1/8 of a teaspoon full of wheat into your system, it's going to be there and cause symptoms for the next 3 to 6 months until it comes out. So that's how, and that's if you have a wheat intolerance or you have wheat sensitivity, if you have leaky gut, if you have any of the symptoms that are exacerbated by eating foods that will be recognized as a poison. So just trying something out for a few weeks will start to allow you to see whether your symptoms change or not. So by doing this chart, by listing your symptoms, listing the dates, and then changing your diet, i.e. eradicating wheat, dairy and sugars as much as possible, and then charting how your progress is by numbering each symptom, will start to help you to see whether the foods itself are starting to are actually exacerbating the problem, the root cause. Now, this is what happens. Your immune system has originally been damaged in some way. Mine was genetically weak because of my upbringing. Then the antibiotics then came in and did the damage. And then after that, the foods that are not tolerated by the gut, i.e. things like wheat, sugar and dairy, which are all 3 causes of problems with the immune system, are then seen as poisons. So therefore the defense mechanism automatically starts to attack it. So by removing that, what I'm doing is my glass, some people can actually take toxins on board, stresses, strains, environmental factors, foods that are not good for them, too much alcohol, that sort of thing. But they'll process it and get rid of it, and that's fine. They don't have any symptoms. Some people like myself who are overloaded, it's like your glass is pouring over. So what happens is you cannot process these toxins, so they flood out into your body and therefore they cause symptoms. So what we want to do is stop pouring the fuel onto this fire that's already raging. And so by eliminating these 3 food groups, it allows your body to start to calm down. Once you start to do that, then you can start to bring back and incorporate some of these foods to see whether your symptoms have stayed away or whether they come back. If they obviously come back again, then you want to remove that food group again. But that's not such a bad thing, actually, because when I thought to myself, oh God, this is going to be an absolute nightmare because I've got to eat rabbit food, I was quite frightened by it all, actually. But what I did is I set about getting 2 books for myself over the Christmas period. And bear in mind, just before Christmas, I ended up in hospital again with kidney stones to my only kidney. And I cannot afford to lose another kidney. I lost one this time last year, so I'm not prepared to do that. So I have to do this now. My autoimmune disease has got to the point where I'm now at organ failure. So when you get to that extreme, the damage has already been done. So what I'm going to do now is try to rebalance that. A lot of you who have problems with symptoms can reduce and remove a lot of these symptoms and repair a lot of the damage and reverse it without ever having to get to that extreme. So I've got a couple of cookbooks. One is food meals for under 30 minutes. So it's really quick and easy because my life is pretty complex. I work long hours. But it also means that I'm going to be cooking things that are going to be really, really ultra healthy for my family. It means that I don't have to even go out and there looking for things like, because I've looked at things that are gluten-free, but they're loaded with sugars and they're loaded with other things. And it's a lot of the other, it's all the extra, it's the colorings and all the additives that they add that also cause a lot of problems. So if we're trying to remove chemicals, why would we go out and buy a load of stuff that's actually supposed to be gluten-free for us, but it's loaded with other chemicals? So we need to make our food intake as easy and as effective as possible. So I've removed all gluten from my diet. I did try lactose-free milk, but actually I still have the problem swallowing. I still have all the nasal congestion and runny nose when I'm out, and I still have all the slushing and the brain, the expansion of the feeling of that my head is going to explode. So that is all dairy related. So actually, what I'm now going to do is remove dairy, full stop. So from this week, that's going. I've also eliminated all sugars. So I've already been going through the detox. It hasn't been easy. I had 4 or 5 days of constipation. Oh, not comfortable. I had horrendous headaches every single day. I can't take pain relief because I only have 1 kidney. So I managed that okay. I got through that. Knowing that you're actually coming through it the other side really does help. So the benefits are short-term, but for a long-term gain. Sorry, short-term loss for a long-term gain. So by eliminating the wheat, it really did have a major effect on my body and going through detox. And now I'm starting this week to eliminate the dairy and obviously I'm already doing the sugar anyway, so that I can now then work on a very clean diet. So what has been recommended to me is making sure that we include 5 different colours of fruit and veg every day. And those 5 different colours will mean that you've got a variety of all the things that you need to feed the gut. I'm looking into probiotics, but again, you need something that's got a strain that's strong enough to be able to add that bacteria back into the digestive system. But also it's about balancing as well. You don't want to overload the already out of balance system with a load of bacteria that could actually make it even worse. So, I'm very wary about overloading my system with supplements. So at the moment I'm doing this very naturally just with food alone. So as I say, I'm starting to cook meals and bake. Oh my gosh, I'm not a baker, but I've been baking. And I'm not a dessert eater either, but I was 12 stone 11 when I started this, and after a week I've lost 5 pounds. 5 pounds, or is it 4 pounds? 4 pounds. 4 pounds in weight. But I've had a dessert every night. I never eat desserts. And I've done that just as an experiment, just to see if I'm eating more and I'm adding more calories in, but I'm eating the right calories and I'm eating the good stuff, which is natural, then this will naturally just work. And I didn't expect that kind of weight loss. So for anybody who finds that they can't lose weight, and they're struggling with weight loss and they're trying all the faddy diets and everything, again, it's all to do with this, especially if they've had thyroid tests and they can't find out why their metabolism doesn't seem as efficient as it used to. The sluggish mechanism, the slowing down of the digestive system can very much be because the system's just not able to cope because it's overloaded with all the toxins. So yeah, so today, this is my first head pain-free day. The stomach has righted itself now. I feel the fatigue has started to move a little bit. I've charted my symptoms so I can start to see, only slightly, because obviously it's early days, that some of my symptoms are, adjusting very slightly. But I think a lot of it is to do with that my bloating has had a significant change. Usually I have a very, very large stomach, an exceptionally large stomach. Excuse me. I do have a cough at the moment as well. This is all part of it because I'm very, very run down. But overall, I feel a lot better. The one thing I will say is that when we come off wheat, there can be an emotional crash. And I did feel very low. I was very high and very low, high and low, feel very positive, and then suddenly, I crash again. So it has been very up and down with the emotions. But again, eventually, this is supposed to be all about balance, guys. It's supposed to be about balancing our emotions, balancing our environment, balancing our work-life balance, that kind of thing. It's about our food, etc., etc. So the other thing I have implemented is I've had a meeting today with somebody who's going to help me, another team member who's going to come on board to support me. So I've already got several people and groups that are helping me with my work. But I'm getting somebody to help me with the main core of the stuff which is a lot of my output every day, my energetic drain. So that eventually this year, and I've done a planner, I've planned ahead. This year, this is the first year I've done it. I've done a yearly forecast, I've done a plan, and I'm factoring in now the things that I love to do, and the things that I loathe to do, I'm filtering off to people so that eventually, because I'm a workaholic and I've got to find that balance, I put the time and effort into the things I love to do. But more than that, I'm making more space and time for myself so that I can do the things I love, which isn't about work, which is about me, which is about exercise, feeding myself, spending time cooking. I never do that. I always saw it as a chore, but now it's like my meditation because I know that I'm making myself well and making my family well too. And also I want to make time to travel, to have new experiences this year, much more so about health and well-being, all-round well-being. So yes, so 8 days in, dramatic changes, lots of change, adjustment. And as I say, if you really want to find out what sort of foods that you can eat and can't eat, then I would be mindful by getting yourself a cookbook or books that will allow you to see what ingredients you can include in your diet. And just enjoy it. The whole point of this is actually not overloading, because the whole point is our environment, external life is a reflection of what's going on internally for us. So if our systems are overloaded, more often than not, our external world, our environment is overloaded as well. So if you change one, you're going to change the other. But if you both work on both levels, you're going to get there a lot faster. And that's what I'm intending to do. So Happy New Year to all of you. And thank you for following me. And hopefully some of you have started this with me. I said I was going to start this on the 27th of December. So some of you may have started already. I'm going to share this, and if you want to put any comments, any feedback about your experience, what you're going through, I would love for people who want to follow this seriously to record this, perhaps keep a spreadsheet or just notes about your progress, so that you can actually have a before, a during and an after results, so that you can see how well you've done it. It really, really helps when you can see progress. So good luck everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.